So the Indiana Fever had an exceptional offseason. We can be honest, whether that be coaching hires, whether that be the whole new facility they're building, whether it be most of their free agency signings, they just made one major mistake. I'm going to be talking about that in this video today because I feel like, not that it's kind of gone under the radar, which, like, look, it has gone under the radar, but, like, we can be honest here, like, this team's still looking better than last year. But I still think this would be one of those changes that might cement them as, like, maybe title favorites had they done this. And it was protecting Temi. Like, it's really not looking like a smart decision in hindsight. Because Temi has just signed for an unbelievably cheap contract. Not only is it 90k, it's unprotected 90k. It is an unprotected $90,000 that she signed for. She barely signed above the minimum. So, obviously they lost Katie Lou as well. So Katie Lou, obviously you can replace Katie Lou with a minimum contract. But if we want to look at the Fever's roster, had they just gone, and again, they protected Melissa Smith in expansion. Not protecting Temi seems to be one of the big problems. It looks like they were cool with losing Grace Berger. Everyone thought that they had protected Grace Berger. Turns out it seems they protected Dantas. So I would say more than likely we've got, like, we have, like, Melissa Smith protected and Dantas protected. And with that being said, I'm putting it out there. If you don't need to sign a lane, you don't need to take on the Jaylen Brown contract. If you kept Temi and paid her 90k and just kept Katie Lou Samuelson, you'd be in the exact same position as you're in now. And, like, look, I'm not the biggest Katie Lou Samuelson fan. I think that her contract stopping the team getting to 12 players was an issue, and I still think her contract ended up being an issue. They bought her out, and they literally did not save enough money to get the 12th player. I would rather have Katie Lou Samuelson and Jaylen Brown. I would rather have Temi than Bree Turner. Like, I don't care that, like, Bree Turner at her best was probably better than what Temi was last year. I understand that. And made 2 all-defensive teams. But, like, even when Bree Turner played last year, she wasn't very good after the Angel Reese injury. Like, she wasn't doing much at all. Like, she blocked a couple of shots. Heck, she was a minus 30 in the last game of the season. Like, she wasn't great. And again, I think that it was the best of the best available player. I think she was one of the best available centers that you could get on a minimum. I don't think it's a bad option. I just think keeping Temi would have been better. I think having Temi on the team would have helped out this team more than having Bree Turner. And that's not a knock on Bree Turner, because I think when you lose Temi, they actually did a good job of, like, they did a good job of replacing her, but she shouldn't have needed to be replaced. The only logic to this is because she's gone for a few weeks for Eurobasket and Bree Turner is there for the entire season. Like, that is the only thing that I could think why they were doing it. It's the only logic that makes any sense, because the fact they almost had to give up an asset, like, Melissa Smith was a throw-in. Melissa Smith was a throw-in in a trade for Sophie Cunningham, and it was to get off Melissa Smith's salary so that you could sign DeWanna Bonner. That is literally what Melissa Smith was there for. She was there so that DeWanna Bonner was going to be able to be signed by the Fever. That realistically is why Smith was in that trade. Like, if they're going to have all of the players available, if there was infinite salary cap, or if DeWanna Bonner had committed to Phoenix, I genuinely don't think Melissa Smith is involved in that trade. I think they probably keep Melissa Smith. I think it was just a throw-in. They had to get rid of one of Smith or Lexi Hull because no team would take on Katie Lou Samuelson on a near max. I still can't believe they didn't make some sort of a deal to just give up a pick. They got 2 second-round picks they can't use. Why did they not just give up those 2 picks for Katie Lou just to the Valkyries, who need to hit the minimum salary anyway? I don't even know how Valkyries are even close to the minimum salary. But I don't hate the I don't hate Tammy or like the roster that they've put in together. I think they've put a really good roster together. And I actually don't hate the Bree Turner signing. I like what they've done with Bree Turner. But just imagine replacing Bree Turner. And look, none of Elaine or Jaylen Brown are going to play. Whichever of these two makes the team or the draft pick is not going to play. So just replace either of them with Katie Lou Samuelson, who maybe, like, I'm sorry, Katie Lou Samuelson's better than both of those players. She is. Like, she's not very good, but she's better than them. Like, she's a legit WNBA player. There's a reason she was picked up straight away by a bubble contending team, by a playoff team. And I get it, she has to play the 3, but, like, Jaylen Brown's a 2. But imagine just having Temi in there just for the offense. When Temi was figuring it out, and we can't forget, Temi was a starter in the playoffs. She was a starter. She averaged 6 points per game last year. And I understand it's not the greatest, but if you look at her game log, especially to start the season, before she went and got injured, which was at the end of May, she had gone through a run of games where it was 8, 11, 8, 17, 13, and then got injured, then she got 6 in a game she got injured. Doing it on crazy shooting percentages. Why? Because she ran the floor hard. Like, she would be a perfect backup for Natasha Howard. She'd be a perfect backup for Aaliyah Boston if they wanted to go with an all-out running lineup. And she spaces the floor better than Bree Turner. Like, she can shoot. She can kind of shoot. Like, I don't think she's a great shooter, but she can kind of shoot. And is a much better shooter, I will say, than Led On. So I'm just looking through all the seasons of Bree Turner. When was the last, has she shot a 3-point? I don't think she shot a 3-pointer in her WNBA career. I'm looking through. She has not taken a 3-point shot since, I'm back to 2021, and she's still not. She took one 3-point shot in 2021. She has not taken a 3-point shot since 2021. And Temi, at least, when you're seeing her play overseas, has a little bit of that ability. And again, look, she shot a half a 3 a game on like 18% per game. But there's at least a willingness for her to take a 3-point shot. So I think it was a mistake. I do think in hindsight it was a mistake, but at the same time, like, look, I think it's a mistake in hindsight. I don't think it was necessarily a mistake at the time. Look, the team was in the Satu sweepstakes. They thought Nalissa Smith was going to help them in a Satu trade, and maybe they banked on the Valkyries taking Grace Berger. And I think a lot of teams banked on the Valkyries taking young players. Like the Washington Mystics did not want to lose. They did not want to lose Julie Van Loo. They were hoping to lose one of their young players, and they take Julie Van Loo. Like, the Valkyries took way too many older players. Like, there's no way that the Liberty thought the Valkyries were going to take Kayla Thornton over Maureen Johannes or Marquisha Davis. There's no way teams made these predictions. There's no way the Lynx thought they were going to take Chechi Zandalasini over Diamond Miller. So, obviously, look, there's a lot of teams that made mistakes in hindsight. But still, like, we can look back on this one and just imagine how good this Fever team would be if Temi was there. And again, if Temi's there, you don't have to buy out Katie Lou. And in fairness, for a minimum contract, Katie Lou's a decent player, but you had to buy her out because you wanted to bring in other players to fit in better roles. You wanted to bring in a Bree Turner. You wanted to bring in a Sydney Colson. But if you already had, and she's barely getting paid more than Bree Turner, this would have been such a good thing if it had been done. And I still think the Fever are one of the favorites, but man, the Fever might be considered the favorite if they had just made this move. But anyway, I'll see you guys.